Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB, and today's the 11th of Jan 2024 in Dubai, but guys, in US and in the Western countries, it is still the 10th of Jan 2024. And guys, a massive news is that a spot Bitcoin ETP has been approved by the US Security and Exchange Commission. Absolutely massive and breaking news. So in today's episode, guys, I'll definitely go and discuss what this news is all about. And what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, rather than reading articles through mainstream media, go to the US Security and Exchange Commission's website, and Gary Gensler has put out a statement on the approval of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products. Not necessarily ETF as such, but exchange-traded products are exactly the same thing. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that news. Now look guys, unfortunately the price of Bitcoin hasn't pumped up, but in a stock move, the price of Ethereum is definitely pumping up to the moon. And the answer is pretty simple. A lot of the traders are now anticipating that because a Bitcoin spot ETF has been approved, there is 100% chance that an Ethereum spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved as well. And if I'm not mistaken guys, around May is when we are going to find out about possible approval of Ethereum spot ETF. So definitely positive news for the cryptocurrency world, I guess. Now in today's episode guys, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that news. Now I'm also going to be discussing some really interesting news, and that is to do with formerly known as Twitter or now X, and looks like Elon Musk. He definitely wants to go ahead and accept peer-to-peer electronic cash system, but guys, NFTs as a profile picture on Twitter has been taken off. And I very specifically remember guys, when the former CEO and censorship king Jack Dorsey was in charge of Twitter, you could definitely go ahead and do that, but looks like that feature has been taken off. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this. And guys, all the way from England, we have some news as well. And to be honest, this is not a positive news, and looks like the Bank of England are massive detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and even stable coins. And the governor of the Bank of England, that is Andrew Bailey, he's actually said that Bitcoin is too inefficient for use. So I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that news. Now look guys, you need to know that Andrew Bailey has not been a massive fan of Bitcoin for a very long time. Now he was a massive advocate of stable coins, but looks like he's not a massive advocate of stable coins. But based on what I understand guys, if given a choice, he will definitely go ahead and pick stable coins. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and share that news. And finally guys, we have some news regarding Visa, and looks like they are piloting Web 3.0. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, I'm going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news guys has to do with Bitcoin mining. An Abu Dhabi crypto firm called Phoenix Group, they have acquired Bitcoin mining machines for $187 million. Definitely a lot of money. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that news. And guys, the second news has to do with venture capital fundraising. But what I'm going to be doing guys is I'm going to go ahead and see how that particular news merges with cryptocurrency, blockchain and Web 3.0. But to be honest guys, this is an absolute massive news, and it is actually published in Bloomberg. And what that report states is that Saudi Arabia is overtaking the United Arab Emirates in Middle East venture capital fundraising. So definitely positive news for the Middle East. And to be honest guys, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, let's say in a decade's time, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And as I've said so many times guys, I wouldn't be surprised. So far as artificial intelligence is concerned, Saudi Arabia might turn out to be the leader, not just in the Middle East, probably in the entire world as well. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that news. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode. So let's kickstart with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee a Day has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. They'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in, and Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers two hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now guys, as of today, 11th of Jan 2024, the global cryptocurrency market is at $1.77 trillion. And to be honest guys, since the announcement, the global cryptocurrency market hasn't moved quite a lot. But when you look at stable coins, the volume has definitely pumped up. And even the 24-hour trading volume since the last 24 hours has significantly improved. So what I'd really recommend you guys to do is look at three things. That is the 24-hour trading volume, compare it with the volume of stable coins, and this number guys needs to be tracked with the volume of decentralized exchanges, because since the last 24 hours, the volume of decentralized exchange has definitely pumped up a lot. Now what I think guys, that since the last 24 hours, a lot of centralized exchanges are going ahead and buying a lot of Bitcoin using decentralized exchange. That is at least what the number states. Now so far the total cryptocurrency market volume is concerned, since the last 24 hours guys, after the announcement, it is at $114.03 billion. And if you were to compare it since yesterday, it is up by roughly around $20 billion. And since the last 24 hours, it is up by 35.20%. Now if you look at the volume of DeFi guys, it is marginally pumped up and it is only at $8.42 billion. And DeFi guys, as of today, that is 11th of Jan, is accounting for 7.38% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and the total value logged guys is at $57.52 billion. Now one of the biggest metrics that I have seen a change is that in the dominance of Lido, and today guys it is actually pumped up by well over $3 billion. To be honest, Lido's dominance used to be consistent at roughly around $21 billion, but today for the very first time, probably in almost 9 months, it is at $24.29 billion. And decentralized to centralized exchange dominance guys has drastically pumped up at 27.69%. And as I mentioned earlier guys, since the last 24 hours, or more precisely since the announcement by SEC regarding the approval of spot Bitcoin ETF products, a lot of decentralized exchanges has been used. And if you look at the volume of decentralized exchange guys, Uniswap's volume is at $3.64 billion. I wouldn't be surprised that this might just be the second time that the volume has crossed the $3 billion mark. Now today it is at $3.64 billion, and just few days ago guys, it was at $3.2 billion. PancakeSwap volume guys is also ridiculously high at $791.14 million, pretty close to $1 billion mark, isn't it? I really am not sure what is going on in decentralized exchanges. Now Orca guys is at number 3rd with $358.92 million. Core Finance is at number 4th with $240.7 million, and Trader Joe at $235.78 million. Now look guys, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 24 to 48 hours, these numbers remain the same, but people will go ahead and start selling a lot of the Bitcoin, because a lot of trading is actually going to kick off mostly by tomorrow, isn't it? So what I think guys, in the next 24 to 48 hours, the volume in decentralized exchange will definitely be high, but rather than buying, there will be a lot of selling going on. But in the cryptocurrency world, everything is completely crazy, isn't it? Now guys, if you look at the volume of stable coins, it is just on the verge of crossing the $100 billion mark. It is at $99.60 billion. And stable coins guys, as of today, is accounting for 87.34% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And listen to this guys, Tether USDT's volume is $81.83 billion. So it looks like a lot of USDT has been used since the last 24 hours. Now Circle USDC's volume has also picked up pace, and it has crossed the $10 billion mark at $10.37 billion. And Tron USD guys is at number 3rd with $423 million. And as I mentioned earlier guys, what you need to do is you need to look at the 24-hour trading volume, compare it with stable coins, and then look at decentralized exchanges, and that would give us an idea of decentralized exchanges have been used or centralized exchange are being used. Now personally, I think if decentralized exchange has been used, there is a possibility that the prices remain constant and people are not withdrawing their funds into fiat currencies. But listen guys, the cryptocurrency world is absolutely crazy, isn't it? Now here's the interesting bit guys. If you look at the market cap of Bitcoin, as of today it is at only $913, and since the last 24 hours it is up by $9 billion. But listen to this guys, if you look at the market cap of Ethereum, it has significantly pumped up. It has actually gone up by almost $25 billion. Yesterday guys, Ethereum's market cap was at $284 billion, but today it is at $311 billion. Now listen guys, it depends when you're listening to this podcast. I'm pretty much sure by Thursday or Fridays, the numbers are going to change drastically. It is definitely going to change when the trading of spot Bitcoin ETF products are going to kick in as well. Now so far as the 24-hour trading volume is concerned, Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is $50.3 billion, whereas Ethereum is at $29.2 billion. Now look guys, because of the news regarding spot ETF, the dominance of Bitcoin is consistent at 51.52%, but surprisingly guys, Ethereum's dominance has actually bumped up to 17.50%, and looks like a lot of the traders are hungry, and they definitely want to go ahead and get a lot of Ethereum in the anticipation, or should I say even guarantee, that an Ethereum spot ETF may be approved, most likely by May. Now in today's episode guys, let me very quickly run through the market cap of smart contracting platform, and Ethereum guys, as I mentioned earlier, is clearly leading the pack with $311 billion. Binance BNB Chain guys is at number 2nd with $46.38 billion, and Solana is looking pretty good at $43.27 billion. Cardano guys is less than half of Solana's market cap, and its market cap is $20.32 billion, and Avalanche is at $14.17 billion. Now guys, before we look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, let me run through a project called as Radix, or Radix, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and that, to be honest guys, at one point of time was one of the biggest threats for Bitcoin and even Ethereum as well. And the project, I remember, did make quite a lot of news in early 2013, even in 2014 as well. But unfortunately guys, it has not gained a lot of traction. So let me go ahead and explain what this particular project is, because Radix guys is a blockchain project which is founded by Dan Hughes in 2013, and its ticker symbol is XRD, that is X for X-ray, R for Robert, and D for David. And so far as the project is concerned, it focuses on solving scalability issues in blockchain technology, and the project was initially called Immune, but later it got renamed to Radix or Radix, and in 2017, Piers Richard joined as the CEO, and the project received heavy funding from David Henriques, who is the co-founder of TransferWise, and also from Local Globe, which is a leading European venture capital. Now the key breakthrough for the project guys came in 2020 with the development of Cerebus, which is a consensus protocol that enables unlimited linear scalability. And this protocol guys allows for cross-sharding transactions, making it unique in blockchain space. And I very specifically remember guys, they did do some experiment on the entire Bitcoin blockchain as well. And even the Bitcoin maximalists were completely shocked and surprised at the outcome. And guys, the Radix ecosystem includes a distinctive asset-oriented programming language called as Crypto that starts with an S, which is essentially designed to enhance the developer experience in Web3 and DeFi. And additionally guys, they also have an engine called as Radix Engine, which is described as the world's first DeFi engine, and they aim to revolutionize decentralized finance development. Now as of now guys, the native token of Radix public network is called as Radix or XRD, and the network is secured by Cerebus consensus algorithm, which ensures automatic composability across shards, making it suitable for handling a large number of users in decentralized finance, also called as DeFi. And the consensus algorithm is also supported by a delegated proof-of-stake system, where XRD token holders can delegate stakes to validator node runners to protect against Sybil attacks. And the Radix network guys did actually go live on 21st of July, and its mainnet upgrade is called as Babylon, and it was launched in the third quarter of 2023, on the 22nd of September 2023 to be precise, where they introduced smart contracts and also the Radix wallet to the mainnet. Now listen guys, this project did make quite a lot of news, but I really am not sure. And to be honest guys, I haven't seen quite a lot of people covering this news, so it's going to be really interesting to see what the future of this particular project is. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Now surprisingly guys, as of today 11th of Jan, the price of Bitcoin is only at $46,595. Now once again guys, you need to remember, I'm recording this podcast in the early hours of Dubai, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next 24 hours if the price of Bitcoin alone crosses the $50,000 mark. Now since the last 24 hours it is up by 1.39%, since the last 7 days it is up by 7.94%. Now Ethereum guys surprisingly has gone up by 10.22%, and it is currently at $2,585, and since the last 7 days it is up by 15.80%. So it looks like Ethereum holders are definitely benefiting by news that is surrounding spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Now, so far as the price of Binance BNB coin is concerned, guys, unfortunately it is the same at $305, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 1.47%, but since the last 7 days, it is down by 3.14%. Now look, guys, in the world of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, this, to be honest, might just be one of the biggest events probably in the history of Bitcoin, and the spot Bitcoin ETF product has been approved by the US Security and Exchange Commission. And what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, go to the US Security and Exchange Commission website, and the link is in the show notes below. And Gary Gensler, guys, he has actually put out a statement on the approval of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. Now, what's really important to note, guys, is that Bitcoin did actually hold a steady price late Wednesday after SEC cleared the way for first US stock exchange traded funds that holds Bitcoin to be sold to the public. Now, here's the interesting bit, guys. Gary Gensler very specifically mentioned in the letter, while we approve the listing of trading of certain Bitcoin ETP shares today, we do not approve or endorse Bitcoin. So it's really important to understand that. And he also clearly stated that investors should remain cautious about the myriad risks associated with Bitcoin and products whose value is tied to cryptocurrencies. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, make sure you go ahead and read the official article. Now let me go ahead and read out some more bits and pieces of information that he actually mentioned in the article, because what he actually mentioned is that the recent decision by the Commission to approve the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded product shares is a notable shift from previous disapprovals, and the change in stance is attributed to a legal development where the US Court of Appeals found deficiencies in Commission's reasoning for rejecting Grayscale's proposed ETP, and this prompted a reconsideration of similar filings. And despite the approval, guys, the Commission emphasizes that this decision is specifically tailored to ETPs holding Bitcoin and should not be interpreted as a broader endorsement of crypto asset securities, and the approval is purely a response to changed circumstances and legal scrutiny, not a blanket approval of all crypto-related financial products. And to protect investors, guys, the Commission has also put in place certain safeguards, and sponsors of Bitcoin ETPs are now required to provide comprehensive and transparent disclosures about their products, and these disclosures are outlined in public registration statements and periodic filings, and they aim to keep investors well informed about the associated risks. Furthermore, guys, the approved ETPs or exchange-traded products will be listed and traded on registered national security exchanges, and these exchanges are subject to regulations designed to prevent fraud and manipulation, and guys, the Commission will closely monitor them to ensure adherence to these rules. And to be honest, guys, what I really liked is that the Commission also pledges to thoroughly investigate any instances of fraud or manipulation, including those involving social media platform. And guys, it's also important to note that the approval does not signify an endorsement of Bitcoin itself, and that is something that Gary Gensler made it crystal clear. And the Commission remains cautious, highlighting the speculative and volatile nature of Bitcoin, as well as its association with illicit activities such as ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasions, and terrorist financing. And furthermore, guys, in the article published in US Security and Exchange Commission website, they have mentioned that investors are strongly advised to exercise caution and be aware of the risks associated with Bitcoin and similar crypto-related products. And it's important to note, guys, while the Commission approves certain spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products, it definitely does not extend approval or endorsement to crypto trading platforms or intermediaries, and many of these platforms are currently non-compliant with federal security laws and may have conflict of interest. And lastly, guys, the Commission is actively reviewing registrations for 10 spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products simultaneously, aiming to create a level playing field for issuers and thereby promoting fairness in competition. And this, to be honest, guys, will ultimately benefit investors and the broader market, isn't it? And overall, guys, this decision by the US Security and Exchange Commission reflects a nuanced approach, balancing the evolving landscape of crypto assets with investor protection and regulatory oversight. So definitely kudos for Security and Exchange Commission making the right move. Now here's the interesting bit, guys. The moment that letter was published by Gary Gensler, someone did actually go ahead and publish an inscription ordinals on the Bitcoin blockchain. And guys, the Bitcoin ETF approved an announcement is now actually inscribed in Bitcoin forever. So what you can do is go to the website, that is www.ord.io/54114539, and that's the inscription number as well. That is 54,114,539. That is the inscription number for Gary Gensler's post regarding the spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Now listen guys, the only reason why a spot Bitcoin ETF has been approved, that is because of BlackRock, isn't it? Now unfortunately guys, just one day before, BlackRock did actually decide to cut 600 staff as asset managers defend profit margins, and CEO Larry Fink and President Rob Capito did actually tell the employees in all staff memo on Tuesday that the company was adapting to a rapidly changing environment. So look guys, if you're an employee of BlackRock, you'd definitely not be happy about what is going on, and 600 staff is definitely quite a lot of number. Now guys, let's talk about some news regarding Twitter, or now called as X, and Elon Musk guys did actually unveil an ambition plan for the company 2024, and he did that on Tuesday, and he did actually outline initiatives such as introducing a peer-to-peer payments and integration of additional artificial intelligence powered tools. However guys, these developments are definitely great, but at the same time, the company also discreetly eliminated a feature to its paid subscribers, and subscribers now are unable to designate an NFT as a profile picture. Now earlier on guys, if you had bought an NFT for hundreds, even thousands or millions of dollars, you could go ahead and put that as the NFT profile, isn't it? But unfortunately, it looks like that feature has been taken off. But look guys, X promises to have a peer-to-peer system, and that's all that matters. And they're also focusing on artificial intelligence powered tools in 2024. Now if you want to read through the official link, it is in the show notes below. And looks like guys, he actually went live, and mostly went live on Twitter. And that's how this article is written. Now guys, let's discuss some news all the way from England. Now listen guys, it's really important to note, when Satoshi Nakamoto made his very first transaction, he did have a very cryptic message, which was actually written to the Chancellor of the Bank of England. So I wouldn't be surprised if Satoshi Nakamoto is actually from England. And to be honest guys, my indication is that Adam Back most likely could be Satoshi Nakamoto. If it is not him, mostly it is a group of cypherpunks. Now going back to the news regarding Bank of England guys, they do feel that Bitcoin is too inefficient for use. And what happened is that during a recent UK Parliament Treasury Committee meeting, the efficiency of Bitcoin did actually come under scrutiny, as the head of Bank of England expressed reservations about its practical use, and that is Andrew Bailey guys. And Andrew Bailey and the Bank of England's Deputy Governor Sarah Breeden appeared before the committee to discuss Bank of England's latest financial stability report. Now what they actually said is that while digital currencies are a notable topic of discussion, there was a restrained level of enthusiasm surrounding the potential application, and they also stated that crypto integration is losing momentum. Now look guys, if you're a detractor of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I'm pretty much sure you can find 10 million reasons to say why Bitcoin has failed and why cryptocurrencies have failed, isn't it? And he also actually said that Bitcoin as a payment method is pretty inefficient. Now part of me does actually agree to him, but 80% of the time I do actually disagree to what he's saying, because historically guys, he's absolutely bashed Bitcoin and he's one of the biggest detractors of Bitcoin. But at the same time guys, you need to remember that Andrew Bailey at one point of time was a massive advocate of stablecoins. But what happened is that the Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey said that the integration of cryptocurrencies into the global system has failed, has stalled, as the coin struggled to win over regulators and the public. And what he actually stated is that my own sense is that it is not taking off as what I might call a core financial service. And he did actually told that to the UK Parliament's Treasury Committee on Wednesday. And what he actually said, for instance, using Bitcoin as a payment method is pretty inefficient. Now look guys, if you look at the unconfirmed transactions, I do agree to what he's saying. Now what he did actually tell the regulators is to keep a very close eye on the market, but added that the cryptocurrency market integration into mainstream finance has not yet kept the momentum. And he also said that while a growing number of Britons hold cryptocurrencies, they have struggled to break into the mainstream and represent only a small part of the global financial system. And he definitely reiterated his long-held remark that unbacked coins have no intrinsic value, and that's one of the reasons guys. He at one point of time was a massive advocate of stablecoins, because stablecoins are technically backed, let's say by US dollar or GBP. Now guys, let's discuss some news from another financial giant, that is Visa, and it looks like they're aggressively working on Web 3.0, and the news is that Visa is piloting Web 3.0, and Visa guys is set to introduce Web 3 loyalty services, enabling brands to establish digital wallets for the storage of reward points and experiences. And the Visa Web3 loyalty engagement solution seeks to revolutionize the conventional loyalty landscape by providing incentives and advantages for active participants, including engagement augmented reality treasure hunts as well. So definitely an interesting news, and this news guys is actually published via the blog, and you can actually read it in the show notes below. So those were some macro level news guys from the Bitcoin spot ETF approval world and even the cryptocurrency world. And to be honest guys, I'm really curious to check what happens to the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And that would actually set the course for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now guys, let's look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news guys has to do with Bitcoin mining. And the news essentially is that Abu Dhabi cryptocurrency Phoenix Group acquires Bitcoin mining machines for $187 million. So let me go ahead and talk about this news guys, because Abu Dhabi based Phoenix Group PLC is a cryptocurrency mining and blockchain company, and the company is investing nearly $200 million in Bitcoin mining to strengthen its position in the industry. And Phoenix subsidiary, that is Phoenix Computer Equipment Trading, is acquiring Bitcoin mining machines from Bitmain Development Pte Limited, and the deal guys was facilitated to related party, that is Cypher Capital DMCC, and it is valued at $187 million, and the agreement guys aims to boost Phoenix's hashing power and propel it towards becoming a global leader in Bitcoin mining. And the acquisition guys has been finalized and all relevant procedures have been completed. And guys, the disclosure about the deal was made to the Abu Dhabi Security and Exchange, and this move guys follows Phoenix Group's successful IPO and strategic partnership in the cryptocurrency space. And the co-founder and the group CEO of Phoenix Group highlighted the significance of the deal in solidifying the leadership. And Phoenix Group guys recently acquired a 25% stake in Levely, which is a Dubai-based social networking platform and content monetization platform. And I very specifically remember roughly around a month ago, I definitely covered that news as part of my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast. Now additionally guys, the company signed a contract with Watts Miner for delivery of mining equipment valued at $136 million. And the Watts Miner contract guys includes an additional option worth $246 million. Now the company's expansion efforts guys underscores its dynamic presence in the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry. And to be honest guys, the deal with Bitmain is expected to significantly enhance Phoenix capabilities in Bitcoin mining. And the Phoenix Group is focused on establishing itself as a major player in the rapidly evolving cryptocurrency market. And guys, the Abu Dhabi listed firm is actively involved in strategic investment and partnership to strengthen its position. And this acquisition guys aligns with Phoenix's trajectory towards becoming a global market leader in Bitcoin mining. And guys, yesterday in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, I did actually state why that need not necessarily be a good thing. But so far as this news is concerned, Phoenix Group's recent initiatives, including the Bitmain deal, reinforces its commitment to growth and leadership in the cryptocurrency sector. So definitely positive news for Abu Dhabi, I guess. Now guys, let's look at the second news, and this is to do with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And listen guys, Saudi Arabia is overtaking the United Arab Emirates in Middle East venture capital fundraising. So let me go ahead and share what this news is all about. And the news guys is actually published via Bloomberg.com. And the news is that Saudi Arabia surpasses the United Arab Emirates in venture capital fundraising in the Middle East for the first time. And guys, while I was preparing for this podcast, I did actually read through a post via LinkedIn that it actually states that Dubai is actually leading the race so far as venture capital funding is concerned. And that particular report talks about different cities all over the world. And Dubai guys definitely has overtaken Detroit and other cities as well. Now look guys, the Middle East are definitely taking leaps and bounds over other states and other countries. Now so far as this news regarding Saudi Arabia overtaking UAE is concerned, what the report by Bloomberg states is that startups in Saudi Arabia raised $1.4 billion in 2023, making a 33% increase from the previous year, and they account for over half, that is 52% of VC fundings raised in the Middle East and North African region. And this actually accounts for over 52% of all VC funding raised in the Middle East and North African region, also called as MENA region, in 2023. And Dubai-based venture capital data platform called Magnet provided the data to Bloomberg on the regional venture capital landscape. And government-backed funds guys in Saudi Arabia has played a crucial role in boosting the technology sector. And guys, the government's focus on innovation, a dedicated unicorn project, and investment from sovereign funds have definitely contributed to this growth, isn't it? And two large deals involving local fintech firms, that is Tabi and Tomorrow in Q4, solidify Saudi Arabia's position in emerging market funding. And the kingdom guys is ranked among the top 5 emerging markets for funding alongside Singapore, Turkey, Indonesia and Vietnam. And guys, the growth of Saudi venture capital ecosystem in 2023 was described as remarkable by Magnet's founder and CEO Philip Bausi. And guys, despite being a late entrant to the VC space, Saudi Arabia closed 2023 with almost $1.4 billion, and 2 new unicorns were headquartered in the kingdom. And the Public Investment Fund, also called as PIF in Saudi Arabia, has recently been actively investing in tech firms and startups to build a venture capital industry. And the PIF's focus on tech aligns with its goal of diversifying the Saudi economy and encouraging entrepreneurship. And the $700 billion entity, guys, created a $1 billion fund of funds for venture capital firms, boosting the funding landscape. And PIF guys also directly invests through its subsidiary called Sanable, contributing to the growth of the tech sector. And guys, the rise in venture capital funding in Saudi Arabia has attracted more investors to explore opportunities in cryptocurrency, blockchain and Web3 space, and even the metaverse space as well. And increased government support and investment, guys, can actually create an environment conducive to innovation and the emerging technology sector, isn't it? Now, so far as UAE is concerned, while UAE is facing a relatively decrease in VC funding compared to Saudi Arabia, they still remain a key player in the broader tech and blockchain space. Because the evolving investment landscape in both Saudi Arabia and UAE signals potential growth and opportunities in emerging technology sector. So definitely positive news, not necessarily for Saudi Arabia, but also for the entire Middle East region. So those were the news, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB, listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. I have a question by Kent who asks, yesterday you mentioned that the fork of Bitcoin will actually take place with V27 update that has to do with ordinals, and if that thing happens, what happens to the spot Bitcoin ETF? Now to be honest, Kent, this is an excellent question, and to be honest, at this point of time, I really am not sure what the answer to that is. But this, to be honest, is an excellent question. So what's going to happen is with the V27 update, most likely we might see a fork of Bitcoin. And in the new Bitcoin, if that thing happens, we may not have ordinal inscriptions. So essentially, there'll be two networks of Bitcoin. But look, so far as I understand, so far as ETF related news is concerned, that will still remain to Bitcoin Core. The only problem which will actually happen, and most likely that may never happen, but let's say if the miners and the business developers do actually decide that they do want to go ahead and fork to a completely new Bitcoin, which is a third Bitcoin, that is when there will be absolute chaos in the market regarding Bitcoin spot ETF approval, regarding ETFs that are working on Bitcoin Core. And then we might have three separate forks of Bitcoin. One is a completely new Bitcoin, the second one would be Bitcoin Core, and the third one will be a fork of Bitcoin that includes the ordinals. Now the likelihood of that thing to happen is next to never, but to be honest, Kent, in a crazy world, absolutely anything is possible. Now could it be possible if someone wants to actually go out and take down the entire Bitcoin network? This is one of the crazy ways to do that, but definitely an interesting question. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons why a lot of Bitcoin specialists like Andreas Antonopoulos, they were not a fan of when El Salvador made Bitcoin a legal tender, and he often said, what in the near future we have a fork of Bitcoin, what happens to the legal tender that is in El Salvador? Will it be Bitcoin Core? Which to be honest is talked about only because it has a lot of price value. But let's say if there is a fork of Bitcoin, and if the name changes from Bitcoin Core to let's say something else, I really am not sure, to be honest, and this is an excellent and brilliant question. So I definitely need to do more research, but what I think is whatever has the highest value, that is essentially where the ETF will at least go for, and that is where the whole notion of Bitcoin making a legal tender in El Salvador will definitely be catered towards as well. So definitely an excellent question. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And guys, remember, Monday to Thursdays 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And how the series of episodes into Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.